My husband and I had a threesome and I think it was a mistake. A few weeks ago, my husband, Matt, and I found ourselves tangled in an unexpected whirlwind of emotions that has since left us grappling with the aftershocks. At 29, I thought I had a solid grasp on our adventurous marriage, but at 34, Matt was about to reveal layers of complexity I never anticipated. We've always had an unspoken agreement that our shared experiments would only bring us closer. In the past, our explorations into threesomes had only ever involved other women. Those experiences were always thrilling, adding a dash of excitement without ever feeling threatening. They were adventures that felt safe, contained, and most importantly, were things we embarked on together. One balmy Friday evening, as we lounged on our sun-drenched patio, Matt broached a topic that would send ripples through our seemingly steady relationship. With the golden hues of sunset framing his face, he suggested something different for our next escapade, a threesome, but this time with his friend, David. David was 32, a close friend of Matt's for years, known for his laid-back charm and adventurous spirit. We had all hung out countless times, sharing laughs and good times, and there was an easy camaraderie between us. Matt proposed it with an air of casual curiosity, his blue eyes twinkling with excitement. He painted it as another thrilling twist in our sexual repertoire, a new boundary to explore. I remember my heart racing as he laid out his thoughts. There was a flicker of something new in his eyes, excitement tinged with a hint of apprehension. My mind was a whirlwind of thoughts. I was both intrigued and hesitant. The idea of inviting another man into our bedroom was new territory, a sharp deviation from our usual dynamic. We spent the next few days discussing it, dissecting every angle, laying out boundaries and expectations with meticulous care. We agreed that communication would be paramount. If at any point either of us felt uncomfortable, we'd stop. This wasn't just about adding another person to our sex life. It was about ensuring that our bond remained intact through it all. Matt's enthusiasm was infectious, and despite my initial reservations, I found myself agreeing. The potential thrill of the unknown was too tantalizing to resist. The night of the planned encounter arrived with an electric buzz in the air. We invited David over for dinner, aiming to keep the evening casual and gradual. The table was set with our favorite dishes, the wine flowed freely, and our conversations were peppered with laughter and the comfortable banter of close friends. Yet, beneath the surface, there was an undercurrent of anticipation, a charged excitement that hinted at what lay ahead. As the evening wore on, we moved to the living room. The atmosphere became more intimate, the space between us shrinking as the tension grew. Matt, ever the instigator, was the first to act. He leaned over, pulling me into a deep, lingering kiss. I could feel his heartbeat matching the rapid rhythm of mine. When he finally released me, he turned to David, giving a silent nod of approval. David's eyes met mine, a mixture of desire and uncertainty flickering within them. David leaned in and kissed me, his lips soft yet demanding. His hands roamed over my body with a confidence that sent shivers through me. The chemistry between us was immediate and intense, a raw connection that took me by surprise. As we moved to the bedroom, the anticipation gave way to a whirlwind of passion. David's touch was different from Matt's, more urgent, more explorative. He whispered things in my ear that sent sparks of desire coursing through me, things that Matt had never said, awakening parts of me that had been dormant. The night unfolded in a blur of pleasure and intensity. David's touch, his words, the way he moved, all of it combined to create an experience that was both exhilarating and overwhelming. I found myself lost in the moment, swept up in the sheer physicality of it. I climaxed multiple times, each one more powerful than the last, leaving me breathless and trembling. When it was over, the three of us lay tangled in the sheets, our bodies slick with sweat, our breaths mingling in the aftermath. There was a sense of shared satisfaction, a silent acknowledgement of the extraordinary experience we had just had. As David eventually left, Matt and I snuggled up together, our bodies still humming from the encounter. At that moment, everything felt right. We had pushed our boundaries, and it had been an incredible, shared experience. However, reality came crashing in a week later. We had invited David over for drinks, intending for a simple, casual evening. We were sitting in the living room, sipping cocktails and chatting comfortably. The atmosphere was light, the conversation flowing easily. Then, out of the blue, Matt dropped a bombshell that would unravel everything. "You two should have sex without me," he said, his tone surprisingly nonchalant. I almost choked on my drink, the words hitting me like a physical blow. I laughed awkwardly, hoping it was a joke, but when I glanced at Matt, his expression was deadly serious. His eyes, usually so warm and loving, were now filled with an intense, unreadable emotion. I could feel the weight of his words sinking in, and I was stunned. My mind raced, trying to comprehend what he had just suggested. It felt surreal, like a scene from a movie where the characters suddenly reveal their hidden depths. I managed to stammer out that I wasn't interested in doing that, trying to laugh it off and move on. David, sensing the awkwardness, attempted to steer the conversation back to safer waters, but the tension lingered, an invisible presence in the room. When David finally left, I turned to Matt, demanding an explanation. Matt's face was a complex tapestry of emotions: vulnerability, determination, a hint of desperation. He explained that during the threesome, he had noticed a connection between David and me, something profound that he had never seen in us. He confessed that watching us together had stirred up a maelstrom of emotions: excitement, jealousy, and a deep sense of inadequacy. He thought that if I had found something special with David, something that perhaps he couldn't give me, I should explore it. He wanted me to be happy, even if it meant being with David without him. I was floored. My husband, the man I loved and trusted more than anyone, was essentially giving me his blessing to start an affair with his friend. I felt like I was standing on the edge of a cliff, the ground crumbling beneath me. It was a mix of emotions: shock, confusion, a twinge of temptation, but overwhelmingly, a sense of betrayal. I told Matt, with as much conviction as I could muster, that I wasn't interested in sleeping with David again. But Matt seemed convinced that I'd changed my mind, insisting that he would be okay with it whenever I decided to see David again. In the days that followed, I found myself in a storm of conflicting emotions. I was torn between my loyalty to Matt and the undeniable connection I had felt with David. The memory of that night with David haunted me, a vivid, tantalizing recollection that invaded my thoughts at the most unexpected moments. The intensity of the sex, the things he had said, the way he had touched me, it was all a stark contrast to the comfortable familiarity I had with Matt. Then the text started coming in. A few days after Matt's shocking suggestion, David texted me. At first, his messages were casual, a continuation of our usual friendly banter. But they quickly took on a different tone. He asked if I wanted to hang out. Just the two of us. He didn't beat around the bush, expressing his interest in maintaining a friends with benefits relationship. I could feel the pull of temptation, the allure of what we had shared. I declined his advances, trying to keep things clear and firm, but David was persistent. His texts kept coming, each one a little more insistent than the last. He described how much he had enjoyed our time together, how he wanted to experience it again. His words were a tantalizing whisper, a reminder of the intense pleasure I had felt in his arms. It was maddening, a constant tug-of-war between desire and loyalty, between the thrilling unknown and the comforting stability of my marriage. As the days turned into weeks, my emotions became a tangled web of